Hi guys, and welcome back to the channel. So in this episode I'm going to show you how to make a fence post, a really strong, useful fence post over 2 meters long, just out of some scrap pieces of wood that you might find lying around in your garden. There are many reasons why you might want to do this. Number one, you might not want to spend the money on a fence post. Number two, you might not have room in the car for like a 2.5 meter fence post. They're quite long and awkward, so that's another good reason. Number three, you might want to make use of any old wood that you've got, and that's what I've done here with this pallet wood fence. It's 100% recycled wood. As you can see, this is all pallet slats, and I've used old pieces of fence posts that I've found, just make sure they're not rotten, and I've joined them together, as you can see here, to make and that is over 2 meters. This is 2 meters and that is slightly over, so. And as you can see, there's no movement in this fence whatsoever, so it works really well for that. So you might want a fence post to construct a fence, but you don't have the lengths of wood. So I'm going to show you how you can use a lap joint to join together pieces of wood. As you can see, I've got loads of all sorts of bits and bobs of wood here. I've got some kind of fence post shaped pieces of wood here, and they're quite short, so they won't make an entire post. So I'm going to use these, and I'm going to create a lap joint in there and join them together. You can also use things like 2x4s, 2x2s, join them together. So if you're like me and you like to make the most of your bits of wood, what I've got here is 2 smaller fence posts, and I need 1 large fence post. So these have both got damage at the ends, and on their own they're not of much use, but together they can make one nice big sort of 2 meter or so fence post. So what I've done is I've already marked it up. So I've used speed square, a straight edge. I've just used a piece of wood for the straight edge, a pen or a pencil, and I've roughly worked out where the end of the damaged wood goes. And for this, there's no set distance you need, but sort of the span of your hand is a good start. And what I've done is I've matched up the lengths so they're the same. As you can see, that line is flush there, the line's flush there, and I've used a square to draw a straight line. So then I've turned it sideways and I've measured halfway down the wood, so 50%, made a mark, 50% here, and then I've drawn a line, and then this is going to be our waste material we're going to cut out here. So we're going to splice it and join them together, and for that I'm going to glue it and screw it, but first I've got to cut out this material, and for that I'm going to use a tenon saw, a normal saw and a jigsaw. Right, so I've got it all set up here. I'm going to start cutting it, and I'm going to start off with the tenon saw because you can get a nice straight cut with that because the blade is straight all the way along. So once we've worked a sort of straight line like so, then we want to pay attention to our point down here so that we don't go too far in. So we need to know when to stop. So once we've got to this point, we can keep the blade nice and straight and just work our way down to that point. Okay, so I'm at the point now. I'm going to check the other side. A little bit more. Okay, so we're there. Now we're going to work our way down the long part, and for that I'm just using a standard saw. Right, so now I've done most of the cut along this way. I'm going to use the jigsaw just to finish it off, and that way I can get it really accurate. So there's one done. Right, now I'll just do the other one. Right, so the next thing to do was to get some glue on these joints, and I put plenty of glue on, and then I worked it into all the cracks. So then I took some nice strong wood screws and proceeded to drive them into both sides of the joint. And I've piloted the holes first. If you wanted to, you could tidy up those joints with a chisel, but because it's just a fence post and it's not like an interior piece of furniture, I didn't bother. So you can see there I've gone around both sides and screwed them down, those screws. And then I went ahead and used some ring nails that I'd got out of some old pallets, and just helped to strengthen it up by adding quite a few of those on both sides also. And that will just help to squeeze it all together and prevent any future movement. So then, to neaten up where the joins are, I mixed up some sawdust with some PVA glue and made a nice paste for a wood filler. And I just went ahead with the card scraper and just worked it into all those cracks. So the post was slightly too long for what I needed, so I just went ahead and cut a few inches off the top. And then I just took a piece of pallet wood, a nice thick piece, and I cut that to size to make a topper for the post to prevent the top of the post rotting from rain. I then attached it on again with some ring nails. I'll just show you down the length, and I'd say that is pretty straight for a over 2 meter length of fence post that is actually used, so that is easily good enough. I then went ahead and gave it all a coat of green fence stain. Right guys, so there you have it, a fence post made out of a few old bits of wood. Here's a fence that I made, and I'll just show you. I've used one of those spliced pieces of wood, so I'll show you now. Here is the post down the bottom, and you can see there where it's been spliced. Not a very neat job on that one. The one I've just done was quite a bit neater than that, but it turned two old rotten, well, damaged pieces of wood into one useful piece. And you can see it goes all the way up there. It's over 2 meters. This is 2 meters, so that is 2 and a bit meters, so over 7 foot. And I've put a piece of pallet wood on there as a topper to stop the rain rotting it, and that is rock solid. So this is a pallet wood fence that I've made purely out of pallet wood. I made it last week. That's pallet wood also, and as you can see, it's very strong, 2 meters high. Great fence. So that's how you make a fence post. You can also use a couple of old 2x4s, just joining lengths together really, a lap joint to join lengths of wood together. And I can tell you now, it's very strong. As you can see, it's holding this fence up absolutely no problem at all. I'm struggling to even make any movement in that at all. If you want to see a video on how to make one of these fences, I've got an old video in my playlist, and I'll leave a link to that in the description below. So thank you for watching. If you found this video useful, please like and consider subscribing as well for more videos, and also leave a comment. And as always, thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.